I would like to introduce Tom Krieglstein from New York City. He's one of our early members who joined us, and he's been supporting us since the pandemic times. He's an official forum launcher, and he's trained more than 500,000 leaders from USA, and corporates like Coca-Cola, Google, Pfizer, Old Navy, Apple. He's been a trainer for all these corporates. He's a TEDx speaker as well as a Guinness World Record holder. And we welcome Tom today.
A big round of applause as we welcome our guest speaker.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for that introduction. I should have you come with me to every program and do that introduction. I just really quickly, before I say anything else, I just want, because I get a chance to see the audience right here. And 3 days ago, I was working with a group of accountants here in the United States, in Ohio. And I just want to say this group right here is a better looking group of people than that group. So first off, can you just quickly turn to the person next to you and just say, "You look good." Ready and go. Love it. I love it. And so, Shilipe, thank you so much. Jimmy, thank you so much for hosting me here. Farhan, I don't see you there, but thank you for making forums happen within DLC. Before we also get into anything, I always like to get to know the groups I'm working with. And so in just a moment, you're going to see on the screen a question. And here's the question. I'm going to ask you to point to the side of the room that you would choose as your answer to this question. So it's going to be either A or B type of question. So here's the first one. The first question is, would you rather win the lottery or live twice as long? Go ahead and point to either A or B as to which one you would choose. Look around, see how you compare to your peers. Let them see your answer really fast. Here comes question number two. Question number two is, if you had the choice, would you rather no one, this one's tricky, would you rather no one shows up at your wedding or no one shows up at your funeral? Oh, that's a deep one. Go ahead and pick the side of the room that you would choose for that. Let's see. All right, I'm seeing the answers come in. Perfect. Go ahead and set those hands down. Set those hands down. Let's go on to question number three. I'm learning a lot about this group right now. So here's the next question. Would you rather go to the movies alone or a restaurant alone? Quickly, make that choice. 1, 2 point. I'm looking around. I see the answers happening there. All right, set those hands down. I have two more for you. Would you rather sleep in a luxury hotel or camp in beautiful nature? Go ahead and choose your option there. I'm seeing a lot of sleep in luxury hotel. Jimmy, take note for future DLC. I think there's like 2 people pointing to the camp in beautiful nature. We know the crowd we're with here. Okay, got it. All right, let's see. Final, I'm going to skip ahead here and actually go to this one. Would you rather write the speech or deliver the speech? Go ahead and pick one. Would you rather choose? Write the speech or deliver the speech? All right, interesting. All right, last one. Go ahead and set those hands down. Here's the final and last one for you. Would you rather live in a brick building in a city or live in a wooden cabin in the country? Are you more city or more country? A lot more city. I think that attaches with that luxury. Perfect, got it. All right, I always appreciate the answers and seeing it because it helps me to understand who I'm working with here today, and I'm getting a sense of it. And as I get into this, I'm curious, have any of you ever heard of a story called The Three Bricklayers? Raise your hand if you ever heard that story before. I'm looking around. No, it doesn't seem like, maybe one person's back, but it looks like most people haven't. So here's just a really quick version of it. So there's this traveler going down a street in a city, and on the side of the road are 3 people that are hunched over on the side of the road. The traveler walks past the first person and asks the traveler what they're doing. And the traveler looks back at the person and says, "Oh, I'm laying bricks." And which is the obvious answer because that's exactly what's happening. So then the traveler goes to the next person and says, "Well, what are you doing?" And then the traveler looked back and said to the second person, said to the traveler, "Oh, I'm building a wall." So doing the exact same motion, but mentally thinking about it in a different way. And then lastly, the final person, it goes up to the final person, says, "Well, what are you doing?" And this person looks back at the traveler and says, "I'm building a stadium." And it got me thinking how three people who are physically doing the exact same motion, laying bricks, but mentally think about what they're doing in a completely different way. You all are here right now. Jimmy has launched DLC. The forums are happening here within DLC. My question for you is why? Why are you participating? Are you here to lay bricks because someone told you you have to do it and that's what you're supposed to do? Are you here building a wall because, oh, you've heard about some of the benefits of it and you're like, maybe it's interesting? Or do you see this as the opportunity to build the stadium for you in your life? The opportunity for you to go after that thing, to set up, to find that group that becomes your team, your trusted army, your secret army that helps you to build the stadium in your life so that you live life on your terms. Some of us are here to lay bricks, some of us are building the wall, and some of us are building a stadium. I have one more story, and then I'm gonna ask you a question. This is a sad story with a happy ending. Okay, so stay with me here. Many years ago, a friend of mine got off work and was driving on the highway and got into a head-on car accident. He went into the hospital and was in a coma. It was that serious. At first they thought he was never gonna come out of the coma, but he did, which is great news. And the doctors were pretty convinced that he was never gonna walk again because of the accident. So the doctor went to my friend's bedside and turned to him and said, just so you know, it's great news you're out of this coma, but however, I want to let you know that there's a strong possibility that you may never walk again. My friend turns towards the doctor with a huge smile on his face and goes, "I know, doctor, though this is great though." Okay, so strange comment from that statement from the doctor. So the doctor's very confused by this. Doctor leaves the room, goes to my friend's dad and says, "Hey, I just told your son this information," and his response was very strange. So I'm actually going to, are you okay if we do some additional cognitive tests to see what's going on in his brain? Because I think there might be something wrong that we're not seeing. The dad says, "Hold on, let me go into the room." So the dad goes into the room, goes up to my friend's bedside and says, "Son, just so you know, it's so great that you're out of this coma. However, do you realize there's a strong possibility you may never walk again?" And my friend turns towards his dad with a big smile on his face. He goes, "I know, Dad, this is great though, because..." Now, before I tell you the final line of this story, you should know three things. One, it's an absolutely true story, and I'll prove it to you. Two, it's not me, so don't wait for one of those revelations where I'm gonna stand up and be like, "I'm the one who's walking." No, it's not me. And three, it's dark humor. Dark humor means that it's gonna be a little bit, I'm encouraging you to laugh, okay? That's why I'm preparing you to laugh. All right, so my friend turns towards his dad with a huge smile on his face. He goes, "Dad, this is so great though, because I've always wanted to be a motivational speaker, and now I'm gonna have a story to tell." He went on to become a famous motivational speaker. Some of you may know him. His name is Hal Elrod. He's spoken at so many EO, YPO, Vistage events. He wrote a book called The Miracle Morning. And The Miracle Morning is one of the top 50 most sold books on Amazon every single month. They sell about 10,000 copies per month of this book. And I know the business people in the room want to know that it's a self-published book. So he makes money off of every single sale that he gets. And he charges 20 to 30,000 per keynote. Think about it for a moment. He gets into a car accident, goes into a coma, comes out of that coma, told that he's never going to walk again. And his first thought is that this is the start of my life. I don't know about you, but I certainly know there are people in my world that would think the exact opposite. We're all physically here together in this room, but why are you here? What are you trying to get out of being part of a forum? And so I have a question for you, and in just a moment, I'm gonna set it up, and I'm gonna ask you to turn to one person next to you and share your answer to this question. So let me set this up, because people typically enter into a forum for three main reasons, and I'm gonna call it the DLC forum triangle. At the very top of the triangle, at the bottom, people tend to come in for the very obvious reason of career growth. I want to grow my company 20%. I want to increase my revenue. I want to increase my profit because I make millions in revenue, but I have very little profit. I want to advance in my career and go from mid-level management to CEO, whatever it is, it's career growth. The second part of that triangle is social connections. People go, I don't have a crew, a group that I can go adventure with. I don't have a community that I can lean on in any given moment. Jimmy was just up on stage talking about this idea that if a child is sick, maybe the community rallies around that person to help that child get the care that they need. Or if something happens, the community rallies around it. Are you here for the social connections, the support that you get from that, and also the adventuring you get from that? And then lastly, the personal growth. I have been trying to lose 40 pounds for the past 6 years, and the only thing that's happened is I've gained another 40 pounds. Clearly, I am messing up on this journey. So I want to grow personally so that I can be a bigger, better version of myself. Now, if you were to think about why you're entering into a forum or why you'd want to enter into a forum, take a dot and put it somewhere in this triangle. You see how I put one right here towards between personal growth and social connections. What is it for you? I'm going to ask you to turn to the person next to you, groups of 2 or 3, whoever's nearby, and just tell them where you'd put the dot and why you'd put it there. The person in your group who has the longest hair gets to share first. Sorry, I see some bald people in there. I'm sorry, but you do not get to share first here in this one. The person with the longest hair shares first. We're going to take 4 minutes to share with the group next to you your answers to where you'd put this dot. I believe we might be able to even put some music on. If we can do that, go ahead and I'll start the timer. Ready, find that partner, set, and go. Yeah, we are going to pause that timer. And I would love to open up to large group to hear some of these. What did you say with your partner? What were you sharing with your partner as to your answers to why you're interested in joining a forum, or maybe if you're already in one, why are you in one? So I believe we have a microphone there. Let's hear some of these answers.
Yes, we have someone.
Yeah, so I'm in here firstly for the social connect. That's because I love to know people and know their story, and which obviously brings me to a personal growth and career growth both together. So I would put the circle right in the center.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Who else has one? So we have someone there more for the social connections. What else?
Okay, so I'm here for all 3, and I would put the dot right in the middle because I can't separate the 3 aspects of my life. I would assume that they need to culminate because the one without the other is not finished. So equally important, I would say, are all 3 things to me.
I suspect you're probably thinking about this idea that some people are so successful in their career, but their personal life is a wreck. And the person who just shared that, I'm guessing you're the kind of person that success for you means my personal life is doing well, my career is doing well, and internally I'm happy, as Jimmy mentioned before.
Yes, a balanced perspective, right?
Yeah.
I would rather put it towards the personal growth, because personal growth does not necessarily mean anything else but the growth in spirituality and self-actualization.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Isn't it interesting when we ask this question how each person pulls something different out of it? There's 2 lessons that we can pull from this. Well, 3. One is that we're all here physically doing the same thing, but mentally in a different place. So that's the first lesson, which I already talked about. The second lesson is within a forum, It is your responsibility to get the value that you want. I know one person is going to be the moderator. One person is going to be in charge of another part of the forum. Another person can be in charge of it. But if you came here for personal growth and you're not getting personal growth, that's on you, not on the moderator, because we're peers. We're not hiring each other. So make sure when you go into a forum that you're very clear, I'm here for this, and how can you make that happen? Then the third thing, I often suggest that when forums come together or they bring a new member in, that they should do this triangle activity. Because if everyone else says we're here for social connections, and then one person says, no, I'm only here for career growth, I don't want to hang out with you, there might be some friction in the forum between the fact that everyone wants to keep going, having extended dinners or extended retreats. Whereas this person over here says, no, I actually want to get back home or back to my office. Something to think about within your group as you form one or bring new members in.